Houston, Chris.
Thank you, Brian and Pete, Mayor Pete. You know, I thought you were good, and I'm allowed to rate people. I thought you were great tonight. I thought Klobuchar was good. I thought you both made a very strong opening appeal for unity and sort of a quiet admonition. Let's not go so far that even if we win, we divide the country.
Yeah, I'm not out to scold anybody, but when I talk about plans that can bring us together, I'm not just talking about how we can win an election. I'm talking about how we can govern the country. We are dangerously divided, polarized as a nation, and bold progressive reforms can be done one of two ways. We've got to do it in a way that actually brings people together. It's the central idea behind my strategy of Medicare for all who want it. It'd be the biggest thing we've done to healthcare in America since Medicare itself was created, but it doesn't order people off of their plans when they're not necessarily ready to do that. It's my approach on education, which is more balanced, to make sure that we only make promises we can keep. We've got to make sure that we prepare for the fact that in a post-Trump world, Trumpism is still going to be going on. And a lot of Americans, especially as the Republican Party figures out what it's going to be, are going to look to the presidency for leadership. This has to be a presidency capable of bringing Americans together, not by watering down our values, but by advocating for them in a way that more people can hear, from rural Americans to voters of faith, people in my part of the country who absolutely should be supporting progressive policies, but aren't going to if we keep shaking our finger at them and telling them they're voting against their interests anytime they don't do it our way.
The health care issue was huge in 18, and now it seems like we may find a practice where the Republicans are empty-handed. They don't have a replacement for Obamacare. The Supreme Court may knock down Obamacare. Does that create an opening for a compromise to restore a better Obamacare? I mean, the Republicans who are they're left empty-handed right now.
Yeah, I think what we've learned is that if you actually take the perspective of how this is going to affect people's lives, they couldn't dismantle Obamacare openly because the American people didn't want that. But the American people right now want more. They want to know they're going to be okay. They don't care about the technical specs of our plans. They want to know how it's going to affect them. And too many people are underinsured, or they're paying too much out of pocket. Maybe they're okay on coverage overall, but the prescription drugs are out of control. If we don't have a comprehensive answer for that, then I think both parties could be rejected in the future.
You know, a great, very successful governor of New York, George Pataki, once said, "Don't get so far ahead of the parade that you can't hear the music." And I wonder if the Democrats did that tonight on guns, because I think the country's totally aboard with background checks. When you go ahead to confiscation or mandatory buybacks, has that gone too far tonight? What Beto was talking about, Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah, we have a chance. Finally, we have an opportunity to actually have this be different. You know, I was watching that,
with background
that
checks.
Conversation. Not just background checks, red flag laws, doing something to disarm domestic abusers, even an assault weapons ban on new sales. That is huge, because even though we've been talking about it for years, it's just been talk since I was in high school when the Columbine shooting happened. This time we could actually do it. Even here in Texas, the lieutenant governor, who's pretty nutty on these issues, has come out in favor. Yeah, I mean, and for somebody like him to support some of these measures means we really do.
Well, he wants to be governor.
Well, we got to act fast, because if even the president had to at least temporarily pretend to be for common sense gun laws, that means that we've got an opening. Let's jump through that opening, get something done, save lives, and if there's more we can do later, let's have that debate later.
You're the only person running for president of the Democratic side, or either side, that's got military background. You were in Afghanistan. Now, tonight I thought they didn't quite get to it. When you said was your position, well, what is your position of pulling out all the troops?
I think that we've got to put an end to this conflict. Look,
does that mean bring all the troops home?
The bottom line and the North Star of this thing has to be keeping Americans safe. I think we can do that without an open-ended ground commitment. Now, that doesn't mean that we completely zero out any kind of special operations presence or intelligence. We have that in any number of places around the world. But what it does mean is we've got to work our way out of this conflict before it gets into its 20th year.
How many troops do you need in that country, just to get factual here, to stop them from engaging in terrorism, supporting al-Qaeda again? How many troops do you need nearby or in country to stop that kind of support for terrorism, which is what got us into that part of the world?
I think a minimal special ops and intelligence presence will allow us to do that once we have worked our way out through a political
How many people?
settlement.
How many troops?
I'm not going to give you a number tonight. I'm going to tell you that it's dramatically less than we have now. I thought I was one of the last guys when I left, and that was years ago. Now we still have numbers that are comparable to what we had then.
But ground troops basically out.
That's right.
Thank you. Back to you, Brian. Mayor Pete. Great night tonight. I mean it.
Thank you.